Hey guys, how to make a video. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. Do this or don't, it's up to you. But if you want your ass out of the insane asylum, or you don't want to eat a bullet, you still got a fighting chance. So, this is what you do. Spiritually. You got voices in your head and they're telling you all kinds of stuff. Be it true or not. Okay? Usually, 90% of it is going to be spirits. Calling themselves Jesus, Christ, this, that, and the other thing. All the way to aliens, to everything, and it's all good, and it's making you happy. But it's what your heart already knows. They're just regurgitating it back in your head and manipulating it. Usually, this is what happens, like 99% of the time. Now, if you're tired of all this shit and the confusion and the rabbit holes running around in your head, searching and searching, never getting the answer, there's really, at this point, you're fucked. It's only going to get worse. Just saying. The only way out is a bullet or Christ. That's it. Because if you live in zero and you're not with Christ consciousness, in Christ consciousness, with Christ, if you live in zero, no one's going to help you. The aliens ain't going to help you. Trust me. Mine didn't help me. Nobody living in zero is going to help you. No matter what they tell you. Just because they tell you something doesn't mean it's real. I'm just saying. This is my experience. And everybody that's talking to you right now, confront them. Confront them all. Go down the rabbit hole with each one of them and confront them. And tell them to fuck off. If you got the balls. Just saying. See what happens when you do. See what happens. And you'll find out if they're lying to you or not. Alright? That's what I did and found out they were all lying. Now, you want out of this rabbit hole? You want all the links in you gone? Mentally, every time you talk to a spirit, it's a link in your head, in your body, between the skins and in your flesh, manipulating you. 90% of it is for drugs or experiences through you. But why else would they be there? They want something. Now, I went through all that. Every word they say, every word you communicate with a dead person in your mind, in your soul, is a link. Not so much the soul, but mostly the mind, the mental. That is not mental telepathy, okay? That's totally different. This is direct communication with a dead person. When you communicate with a dead person, you go to their level, and you're there a lot. Then you talk to someone else, you go to their level, their vibration, you go to their, and there's many vibrations, many levels in the spirit world, and you're up and down all the time. Every communication you have with a spirit, you go into their bubble, and the more you talk to them mentally, the bigger the bubble gets. So all these people that you're talking to, you're all connected in bubbles now, and they're all manipulating you. Usually. You have to get rid of all them bubbles and get rid of all them connections. And the only way to do it, and the only way you're ever going to do it, is with Christ, in Christ consciousness. Alright? Now, this is what you do. If you're sick of it, totally sick of it, and you're 100%, you're going to eat a bullet, and you're going to go to the mental ward, and you're going to get fucked over there with drugs for the rest of your life, and you sit there and drool on yourself. I didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to eat a bullet. So my only option was Christ. Not Jesus. You say Christ, okay? Remember that. Now, this is what you do. And this is important. I got 100 fucking videos on here explaining everything that goes on within Christ consciousness. I've been 7 years in Christ, and He saved me, and He healed my head. I still have voices, but they're almost gone, and I'm leaving them, and there's a million ways to do this. Now what you got to do is when you meditate, you lay down and you meditate, and you chant. All the voices, if they're telling you not to, there's a reason for that. Now, grab some balls and start chanting Christ consciousness, no matter what they say. Doesn't matter. This is your choice, not theirs. And you're going to find out. You're going to fucking find out. You chant Christ consciousness. Chant when you go to bed. When you meditate. You just chant it. Don't expect nothing. Just a chant. Energy will come into you. If you can chant body, mind, and soul, that's even better. All at once. Body, mind, and soul, or just mentally. With your soul. With your spirit. Which are two different things, by the way. The soul and the spirit. Give all yourself 100%. Chant Christ consciousness. All the voices are going to be screaming, or they're not going to say nothing because they're in agreement with it. You're going to find out. Now, as you bring in the energy of Christ consciousness, you get the energy in, you know how to do it. As soon as you do that, things are going to start happening in you, okay? The next thing you do is this. You lay down and you meditate, and you ask for help from Christ. You ask for help from Christ within Christ consciousness. Now imagine Christ consciousness is an energy bubble, and it fills you up. Now, once the energy bubble's in you, that means Christ can see you inside your soul, inside your spirit, inside your mind, and can communicate with you and find out what the hell is going on internally. But you have to have Christ consciousness in you, the energy, for Him to do that. You ain't there. If you need the energy, you ain't there. You ain't with Christ. If you need the energy, you're not with Christ. That's the way they look at it. There's a lot of fine lines in there, but just stick to the basics. Now, Christ conscious energy is in you, and you're chanting, Christ, I need help. Christ, help me. Christ, help me. Christ, help me. Christ, help me. You know why all the people in the demon houses, when they go, Jesus Christ, help me, and nothing ever happens? It goes away for a while, but it comes right back. You know why that happens? Because you're not with Christ. You ask Christ for help. He's going to come at you. He's going to come. He's going to scan you down. Start crying. Shake his fucking head. Can't believe what he's saying. He's going to come in and go, what? What do you want? What do you need? He'll say, what do you need? Something like that. What do you want help with? And you're going to go, I need help getting rid of the voices in my head. I need help with this. I need help with that. If he shows up and you see him, talk to him and ask him, just like you're asking a normal person, are you Christ or are you Jesus? And if he says, I'm Jesus Christ, that's okay. If he says, I'm Jesus, get rid of him. Because anything could be called Jesus. If he says he's Christ or Jesus Christ, you're golden. Start talking to the man. Now, you don't have to go to church. You don't ever have to be in church. You don't have to be any part of any religion on the earth. Because religion, I'm sorry to say, is just a political party over fucking spirituality. It really has nothing to do with Christ consciousness, okay? Everybody else, religion, just don't even worry about it. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to. He's not going to make you pray every 5 minutes, okay? You want Christ. Do what he says. It'll be weeks. It might be weeks. But he's got you now, and he's working on you. You may not see it all at once. Eventually, something's going to come down. For me, it was, I call him a Jello Biafra Christ, because he acted like Jello Biafra off the dead Kennedys, and he's going to put you through a whole bunch of tests and a whole bunch of psychological stuff. Doctors are going to come, pull out all the links in your head, and you can talk to them like normal people, just like me and you. George from down the street, he's with Christ, he's going to come, he's a doctor, and he pulls your skins back on your head, pulls out all the wires, all the links, and energy's going to pour out. And it's going to be hell. But guess what? It's better than eating a bullet and spending a lifetime's in hell. Because if you eat a bullet, you're pissing off the Creator. And you don't want to do that. You do not want to do that. There's always a way out. You got to go to Christ. If you can't find a Christ, ask me. I'll send him over. Within 10 minutes, he'll be watching you. Then you got to go to Christ and you got to ask him for help. You got to do it. I can't do it. I can send them to you, but you got to ask for help. He'll give you the help. If you're already with a Christ and the Christ is not helping, then he will be, because I'll make sure of it, and Christ will make sure of it. This shit's supposed to be taken care of. Just letting you know. Now, I don't know what level of Christ you're on. If you're on the lower levels, there's certain ways, and if you're on the higher levels, there's certain ways. Okay? Christ consciousness goes all the way up to the light to where you can't understand the words. They don't even have language. Right up to mom. It goes from the lower astral, where you are right now, in the body, more or less, all the way up into the light, where they talk with frequencies. They don't even have a form. Okay? That's Christ. From the lower level, all the way up into the light, to light beings of Christ. We're higher than the angels. Alright? In the divine. Past the divine. In universal. Spark. Alright? Which leads me to the next thing. That's how you get to Christ. Now, to orient your head, there's your brain. Your brain goes to the soul. Your soul goes to the inner light, your spirit. Brain, soul, soul to inner light. When you die, you're your inner soul. You're the soul. How much have you learnt from your brain and your inner light to make you up to who you are? Get it? Everything you want to know is in the inner light. Everything you want to know is in the inner light. Because the inner light is God. Pieces of God. They're called sparks. You get them by doing good things from the Creator. You do good things from the Creator, you get a spark. Like saving a kid from drowning. Or getting run over by a cement truck. And you die in that process. You get sparks. You do good things, you get sparks. Okay? That's how that works. But don't even worry about that now. You can live in zero, which is outside of Christ, in some other cult framework thing. They could be good. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. I know Christ is good. I'm telling you, he's good. I was in contact with ETs, or ETs were contacting me most of my life. Dead people were contacting me most of my life. And guess what? When I went to Christ, I still kept them all. And Christ said, if they are with Christ in creation, if they live under creation's laws, and if they live under universal laws, natural law, Christ consciousness, they're good. They come. But if they're not, they're fucking leaving. Basically, he said just like that. No more. You ain't talking to any old entities, any old demigods, any old people if they're not with creation's laws. They're just They're harming you. So what he's going to do then is a whole bunch of things. Don't be afraid. If you want to talk to me, I can help you out. Maybe. But just listen to what Christ says, and it's a long fucking process. All right? And these are for the voices in your head. The spiritual voices. If you have other problems like cancers and tumors and multiple personalities, he can get you help for that too. But you gotta stay with Christ. Now what happened to me was, I went through a whole bunch of tests. As they were doing that, they did a life review on me. Found out where I was in the scheme of the cosmos. When they did that, then they had a better idea. Then they got more information. Then they did another. And then I went through this process where I had to submit my innocence, my soul, my body, my mind, and the spark to Christ, and my innocence, all of it. Submit it. Done. When I did that, I became pretty much a Christ after that. So my soul is a Christ now. Okay? Watch my past videos for all these details. I've been making videos for 7 years. They're on my YouTube of all this stuff. Now, when you have that, when you submit, they go through, put you in a big ritual. You get lots of good things. I got a suit of armor for not killing myself, getting up, and kicking myself in the nuts, to where I went to Christ, got up and went to Christ. I got a suit of armor, swords, all that. Christ gave it to me. There was a big ritual. Lots of cool stuff, lots of cool people. Now, I live mostly, there's 3 places I go. One's called Oceanside. One's called St. Illusion. And the other is called St. Jude. St. Jude. Those are the 3 cities I live in, usually. And it's basically people. Just like me and you. Just like living. But it's all Christ controlled. You can swear, you can drink beer, you can eat sandwiches, you can fuck, you can have sex, run around, chase girls, ride bikes, have a good time, go nature photography, look for Bigfoot, talk to the aliens in these cities. These are the 3 cities I go to. My grandma is in one. She died like 5 years ago. She's in one now. The same city I go to. She lives in a different house up there somewhere, but she's in the same city. Now, then there's kingdoms, hundreds of kingdoms for all factions of Christianity and all factions of people that want to be within Christ, and they all live in a certain, whatever they like. Then there's Christendom, where you go and you're a Christ and you got to be, it's totally Christ. Okay, that's on another level. What they did to me was they took me from lower astral, where they started healing me, and I went from 1 lower astral all the way up to 9. It took like 5 years, 4 years, 3 or 4 years to get up to level 9. Then when I got there, they stuck me up into the light, and I got 2 levels into the light, and I was going for the 3rd and the 4th, but I couldn't because it was too hard on my body. Like my teeth were ringing. And I was getting fucking teeth headaches, and I was stressing out, and I was shaking because it's so high. You're totally detached from the earth at this level. Your soul and your spirit are totally detached from this earth. You can't feel nothing. You don't feel your friends, you don't feel the love, and you don't feel the compassion because you're so fucking high up. You do still, but it's a different frequency. And that's where I was. I'm down at 7. Right now I'm 7. Level 7. I go from 4 to 7 all the time, and that's just because of my conditioning, where my skins are being fixed. I go down to 4, and I stay there, and I squeeze out all the energy and all the connections. Then I go to level 7, where it's tighter, and I get squeeze them out even tighter. Squeeze out all the connections and the energy. Then they send me back down there, and I do it again. And it's back and forth for me. I'm almost gone now. This is what they do for me. Your problems, I don't know. But there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of. And when all this is done, don't feel like you could be a Christ and go live in zero. I've met Christs that live in zero. Christ needed help with demons one time. Demons were attacking me. He got a Christ lady who looked like a shaman. She had like feathers and beads and all kinds of stuff and rattles and trinkets and stuff. She came and helped me out. She cleaned the whole house. She cleaned my whole house, my apartment. She showed me where they were living. I'm just saying, this is what happens. Nothing but good, man. And then they check. Also, what they'll do is they'll clean out your subconscious. They'll open it up and all the bad will come out. They teach you how to go. They taught me how to go into my head and kill all the connections to all the people I don't like that I've ever met my whole life. I had to kill them all in my head. And they were all fears I had. After that was done, I can go into everything. I go into my spine, everything. Your whole psychological profile. All the links, all the connections in your head, they go. And pretty soon you're starting to think like a normal human being again. And you just got to keep doing it. And there's a lot I can help you with if you want. Write to me. That's what it's about. Voices in your head. And guess what? It ain't going to get any better because you're so fucking far down the matrix and the rabbit hole, you're never going to get out. You're just running around in your head. Running around in your head, laying in bed going, living a life. But it ain't really a life. I've been there, man. I can go into details so fucking... I've run into the details in this YouTube where I tell you what it's like. And you'll know what it's like when I tell you what it's like. If you're there. So you don't have to kill yourself. Abuse is a major part. People that abused you, major part of it. Major part of it. It fucks up your whole psychology from creation's rules. And don't worry, they're going to pay. They're going to pay. You hurt innocents, you're fucking done. Look at George Bush. You know where he is right now? I forgot what they called it. I can add a video about it. You'll see George Bush's face on there. He's gone for all time. When I said to Jesus, I go, what the hell does all time mean? He goes, to the extinction of the human race. Be that whatever it is. The extinction of the human race. Where we're not actually, we evolve to where we're not humans anymore. Or we go extinct. Either way, humanity is going to go extinct. But George Bush is in this place until that happens. And you know why? Because he killed relentlessly with no fucking thought about nothing. Innocence. And guess what? In the spirit world, there's no borders. There's no excuses. Innocence is the same if it's in your yard or your neighbor's yard. You can hate your neighbor. You kill the kid with a fucking bomb in your neighbor's yard. The Creator don't like that. You're fucked. You are literally fucked. I heard a thing when it said in the Bible, you would rather tie a millstone around your neck, sink to the bottom of the ocean, and die than deal with what's going to happen to you when you die and you have to deal with God for killing innocents. That pretty much explains George Bush, and he done it 100,000 times. Thousands of times. Every bomb on a fucking school he dropped, collecting his oil cash. Hey, I'm George Bush, I'm God, I'm collecting the oil. He fucking died. He ain't coming back to this. Not in the body. Nope. And guess what? Christ told me that in real time. The only one I talk to is Christ. I'm not allowed to talk to my wife or my 2 kids, but they talk to me relentlessly. I'm not allowed to talk to them because I'll keep the connection going. I just listen. When they bitch at me, it draws out the connections. I don't talk. And the connections hurt bad. But you gotta go through it. And I can get you through it. But talk to me, because I ain't making another fucking video. I've done this 100 times, man. So just listen. I'm telling you. Christ consciousness. Then ask Christ for help. Just chant it to the universe. Christ help. If you want to beeline it, make it a lot faster, give me your name. I'll send him over. He can look at you and get you going. But you got to do the same thing. Christ consciousness and ask Christ for help. My Christ, he'll go over to you. He'll ask what you need. And you go, help? With what? The voice is in my head. Okay. Let's go. That fast. He's going to talk to your mind, your body, and your soul in places you never even knew you had. Watch my videos. Every video on Christ consciousness is an experience. Just one little experience. But it gives you what goes on in the spirit world. It has nothing to do with religion. Nothing. Now there's places I've been to, like St. Rose, but I swore and got in fights, my soul. Because I'm watching a hockey game here and I'm all fucking kill him, fucking smashing, cross-checking. I'm swearing and cursing. They're hauling me out of there. Okay? They don't like that there, so they don't put that there. Okay? You don't go there. So you go to St. Lucian. You can swear and curse and kick and scream. Have your tantrums in St. Lucian. Just saying, there's different places you can go. Remember, these are where dead people are. This is where dead people live. In St. Lucian, St. Rose, St. Jude's, Oceanside. Oceanside is beautiful. It's like the East Coast. Huge beers, giant sandwiches in the restaurants, and you can get your own little house. You sit there and you live your life. That's what they do. But they stick you there with that Christ to teach you things. And he teaches you things. Awesome stuff. You want any more answers? Talk to me.